Our first film is The Grudge from 2004. It follows Karen Davis, an American care worker who moves to Tokyo for her studies. She joins a small care group that helps local residents, and one of her first assignments is visiting Emma Williams, an older woman living alone. The house looks ordinary, but the moment Karen steps inside, the air feels heavy. Karen hears creaking above her and soft scratching in the walls. Emma sits frozen in her bed, as if she senses something Karen cannot see. While checking the rooms, Karen finds a silent boy named Toshio hiding in a closet. The temperature drops around her, and a low throat sound moves through the hallway as strands of black hair slide across the floor. The house once belonged to the Seiki family. Kayako Seiki had an obsessive attachment to a man named Peter Kirk. Her husband Takeo discovered this and killed her in a violent rage, then killed Toshio and the family cat before dying himself. Kayako's death created a force tied to the house. Anyone who enters is marked and eventually taken by her, moving with broken limbs and a sound that follows each victim until she reaches them. The movie then follows several connected timelines. Every visitor becomes a victim. Yoko, another care worker, disappears and is later found in a horrifying state. Matthew and Jennifer Williams, Emma's family, experience objects moving, doors opening, and Toshio appearing in rooms. Both die soon after entering the house. Peter Kirk visits the house after reading Kayako's diary. The curse follows him home. Toshio appears in his hallway, Kayako crawls across his floor, and Peter ends his life when he can no longer escape the force. Karen researches the past and learns the curse never stops. Once marked, there is no escape. She realizes her boyfriend Doug entered the house looking for her. When she rushes back, she finds him trapped. Kayako reaches him first, descending the stairs in a twisted, unnatural movement. Doug dies instantly. Karen takes a drastic step. She burns the entire house, hoping to destroy the curse. She survives the fire, but at the hospital she sees Kayako again, untouched. The final moment shows Karen hearing the same throat sound behind her, proving the curse is still attached to her and never releases its victims. The next film expands the curse far beyond the original home. The Grudge 2 begins with Karen's younger sister, Aubrey Davis, traveling to Tokyo after hearing about Karen's condition. Karen survived the fire, but is consumed by the force. She tries to warn Aubrey, but Kayako appears in the hospital and ends her life. Aubrey realizes something powerful is moving through Tokyo. Meanwhile, 3 students, Allison, Vanessa, and Miyuki, enter the Saeki house on a dare. The house marks them instantly. They hear footsteps, see Toshio in corners, and feel Kayako watching them. Even after they leave, the curse follows each of them. The film shifts to multiple timelines. One takes place in Chicago, where the Kimball family experiences strange events in their apartment. At first, this seems unrelated, but the connection becomes clear. The curse can attach to a person and travel across continents. Aubrey teams up with Eason, a journalist who has studied the Saeki case for years. He explains that Kayako's mother practiced old spiritual rituals, making Kayako sensitive to spirits. That sensitivity intensified the curse when she died, allowing it to spread through contact, objects, and memories. As Aubrey investigates, she returns to the Seiki house. She sees Kayako in the attic and hears the same throat sound behind her. The force begins targeting her. Isin discovers photographs where Kayako appears behind him, and soon the curse claims him as well. In Chicago, young Jake Kimball becomes the central victim. He hears doors slamming, sees neighbors behave strangely, and eventually sees Kayako in the hallways. The curse is now active far from Tokyo. Aubrey tries a ritual to contain Kayako, but Takeo's ghost appears and kills her before she completes it. Her death mirrors Kayako's, showing how the curse repeats its violence. Allison returns to Chicago thinking she escaped. Instead, she carries the curse with her. Kayako appears in her apartment, and the force spreads through the building where the Kimballs live. The entire cycle begins again. The film ends with multiple timelines overlapping. Jake disappears. Kayako appears in different apartments. The curse is no longer tied to a single house. Anyone who crosses its path becomes part of the chain. Every room, hallway, and faint noise can hide Kayako, and the force continues without weakening. Before we continue, tap like for more breakdowns on dark, terrifying universes just like this, where nothing stays contained. The next film in the series, The Grudge 3, continues directly after the events in Chicago. The curse has fully taken hold of the apartment building where Jake Kimball lived. The film opens with his final moments. Jake, who tried hard to escape the presence that followed him, is unable to run any longer. Kayako appears in front of him, and his life ends with the same silent force that took every other victim before him. His death confirms that the curse has completely crossed into the United States. After Jake dies, his doctor tries to understand what happened. He studies Jake's case, believing at first that it might be connected to trauma or hallucination. But the curse does not give anyone time to learn the truth. Kayako appears to the doctor and ends his life, making it clear that anyone who investigates the curse becomes a target. The story moves into the Chicago apartment building, where several residents begin noticing strange events. Max lives there with his sisters, Lisa and Rose. He tries to keep the family stable, especially because Rose has a medical condition that makes her fragile. But Max starts seeing disturbing things inside the apartment. Faint footsteps at night, a small boy standing silently in the corner, and long strands of black hair appearing near the bathroom sink. Toshio shows up in the hallways, sometimes watching from a distance, and sometimes standing close enough for Max to feel a sudden coldness around him. Rose is the first to sense the full presence. She tells Lisa that she sees a woman inside the apartment. Lisa tries to comfort her, but soon she hears the same noises and feels the same pressure in the air. The entire building seems to tighten around them, as if holding its breath. Naoko Saeki, the sister of Kayako, then arrives. She has lived with the knowledge of the curse for years. After learning about the deaths in Chicago, she travels from Japan because she believes she can weaken the force through a ritual tied to her family. She explains to Lisa that the curse is rooted in Kayako's rage and will continue until it is calmed. Since Rose is sensitive to the presence, Naoko chooses her as the vessel for the ritual. She prepares the room with symbols and writings from her childhood and warns that the ceremony cannot be interrupted. If it stops, Kayako will grow stronger. During this time, Max becomes increasingly unstable. Kayako whispers to him and appears crawling toward him. He shifts from quiet to aggressive as Kayako begins using him the same way she once used Takeo. Max eventually loses all control. Lisa attempts to escape with Rose, but the building traps them. Doors shut on their own. The elevator moves without being touched. Kayako appears behind Lisa's reflection, reaching with long arms. The curse gains strength. Naoko starts the ritual, tying cords around Rose's wrists. Kayako appears but hesitates, caught between worlds. Before Naoko can finish, Max attacks and kills her, ending the only chance to contain the force. With the ritual broken, Kayako becomes stronger. Lisa and Rose flee as Kayako appears from ceilings, staircases, and windows, following them even after they escape the building. The end reveals that Rose is now connected to Kayako in a deeper way than anyone before her. When she sits calmly in a hospital later, she moves her head in the exact same way Kayako does. This confirms that the curse is evolving. It no longer simply follows victims, it can pass through them. The Psyche curse is now tied to Rose, proving that the force will continue into new places, new buildings, and new victims. The final major film in the series reopens the timeline with a new location and a new origin point for the spread. The connection to the original Psyche house remains, but the curse grows in a different direction, affecting several families over different years. The film begins with Fiona Landers, an American caregiver in Tokyo who visits the original Psyche house. When she returns to the United States, she immediately senses something following her. She hears the throat sound at night, sees Toshio in her doorway, and tries to believe it is stress, but the presence grows stronger. Soon, the curse takes full control. Fiona kills her husband Sam and their daughter Melinda before ending her own life, creating a new center for the curse at 44 Rayburn Drive. Detectives Goodman and Wilson investigate. Goodman refuses to re-enter the house after sensing something unnatural. Wilson enters and is marked at once. He begins seeing Fiona and Kayako in the hospital corridors. As the force tightens around him, Wilson harms himself trying to escape it and is left mentally unstable. 1 year later, real estate agent Peter Spencer enters the house to evaluate it. He sees Melinda inside the room where she died. The curse attaches to him, and he soon loses control at home, hearing footsteps and seeing Fiona before the force pushes him into violence that ends his life. Later, the Matheson family moves into the same home. Faith and William start noticing movement in empty rooms. Faith sees Fiona in the kitchen and dark stains forming above them. When caretaker Lorna arrives, she becomes trapped inside the house and is pulled into a hallway by the same force. Detective Muldoon enters the story next. She recently moved to the area with her young son, Burke. When she investigates the Landers case, she realizes that every person who entered the house either vanished or met a violent end. The case files connect all the victims: Fiona, Sam, Melinda, Peter Spencer, the Mathesons, and Lorna. Muldoon tries to understand the pattern, but the harder she looks, the closer the curse moves toward her. Muldoon finally enters the Landers house. The moment she steps inside, she becomes marked. She begins seeing Melinda standing near the stairs. She hears the same throat sound behind her. Burke becomes affected at home. He starts waking up at night, saying that someone is sitting in his room. Muldoon believes that if she burns the house, she might stop the spread. She covers the structure in gasoline and starts a fire that destroys the entire property. She believes she succeeded. She goes home to hug her son, relieved that the nightmare is over. But when she looks down, the boy in her arms is not Burke. It is a ghost shaped like him. Kayako's sound fills the air. Muldoon screams as she is pulled into the force that followed her from the house. The real Burke stands in the doorway watching, unable to save her. The final shots show the burned remains of 44 Rayburn Drive. Even with nothing left but ash, the presence is still active. The curse does not weaken when a building is destroyed. It continues as long as someone carries the mark. The curse in The Grudge never ends, and every film proves it only spreads farther. If you want more deep, clear breakdowns of the darkest franchises out there, hit like and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter.